Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button because if you like retro gaming, you definitely came to the right place. I grew up with this stuff and I love sharing stories, playing these games and being involved in the culture back in the day. Today, we're going to bust open, we're going to break open, we're going to crack open another hard to find factory sealed game. This is one for the Atari 2600, released late in the life of the console. A lot of people have never heard of this game because they had moved on to the NES at this point and were not paying that much attention to the Atari. There weren't a ton of this game produced, especially compared to earlier titles for the console. It's a first party, published and developed by Atari, released in 1989. So let's get to it. Let's take this one out of mint, baby. Let's crack this sucker open. All right, here we go, guys. I was at the Torg Retro Gaming Expo over the weekend, and I picked up a factory sealed, very nicely preserved copy of Double Dunk. Double Dunk, a 2-on-2 basketball game for the Atari 2600, released in 1989. Over 2 years after Double Dribble for the Nintendo NES, the incredibly popular, incredibly cool game with the amazing dunk animations, Double Dunk definitely got lost in the hoopla, so to speak, around Double Dribble. Now, was it called Double Dunk because of Double Dribble? It wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, Double Dribble is an actual basketball term, and Double Dunk isn't really, I guess, unless you count one of these fancy trick dunks in the slam dunk contest or something, where they dunk two balls. But anyway, Double Dunk, this game is actually a pretty solid basketball game. It's 2-on-2, there's 3-pointers, there's fouls, there's a 10-second clock, which is different than the real sport, which is 24, but you know, it keeps it quickly paced. There are lane violations, 3 seconds, that's accurate to the sport. You can even call plays, and there's text-based trash talking that pops up on the screen, including in your face, and you can turn a lot of the options on or off. The graphics look pretty decent, the players look all right, decent animations, the goal and the net look pretty cool. Not too bad, but let's break this sucker open and see exactly what's inside. Now, John Hancock, when we were at Torg Retro Gaming Expo hanging out, he told me, he saw that I bought this, I paid $10 for it, which is a great deal. It's really in nice condition. Check out the hang tab and just the beautiful freshness of this game. You wouldn't know, unless you knew about video games, that it was a very old game. But like I said, released late in the life of the 2600, but Mr. Hancock tells me there's a surprise inside this game that you don't necessarily see on the cover. Let's see if he was correct. Let's open this sucker up. See, hang tab, sealed, etc. Let's open this bad boy up. Now, I grew up a big basketball fan. I started playing team basketball, for the RYA, which is what it was called around where I lived. And I was too shy to enroll in anything before that. I didn't want to be in the Boy Scouts. I didn't want to be in any other sports. But finally in 6th grade, I worked up the nerve to play basketball for the Houston Rockets. That was what our team was called. Anyway, Double Dunk, pretty cool. Let's open it up and see what's inside. $10 I thought was a steal for this game. Another basketball term. Ta-da. Open it up here. Nice little cartridge here. Very cool. New old tech, I love it. Let's see what these are in just a second here. And what is this? Aha. Maybe this is what Hancock was talking about. Yes, he told me there was a poster in the game. Maybe he was talking about this. I was thinking like a Double Dunk poster, but maybe he's talking about the Atari Advantage, sort of promotional poster with all these games advertised. Mario and Luigi featured very prominently. Very cool poster with all the characters and athletes and stuff. I like that a lot. Had no idea this was in here. There was a poster in there till Hancock mentioned something about it. But that's pretty darn cool. You've got the 90-day warranty card. Sure, why not? Love the inserts, even kind of boring ones like that. And the instruction manual at this point in the game, so to speak. Stop doing that, so to speak. Okay, Double Dunk. They were getting kind of cheap with manuals at this point, not producing them in full color, and not, you know, the production values weren't spectacular here, but they do have the list of the plays, offensive plays, defensive plays, lane defense, tight defense right, pick defense. Look at all these. This is very sophisticated for an Atari 2600 game. Ah, the manual folds out like that. Jump shot. Yeah, so it looks like a pretty thorough instruction manual with nothing too fancy. And this game is available on the 2003 release, the Atari Anthology Collection. It's also available on Evercade Atari Collection 1 if you guys want to try it out without having to track down a cartridge for the game or hooking up your old Atari or whatever to a CRT or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you have an Atari 2600 Plus. Now, there was supposed to be... See, I grew up playing basketball on the 2600, just the regular basketball game that had sort of a pseudo 3D effect. I loved that game. Didn't really know about Double Dunk till much later. And I also played NBA basketball on the Intellivision. There was no basketball game for the ColecoVision except for one-on-one, and I didn't get that till later. But I did love basketball for the 2600. Now, there was supposed to be Real Sports Basketball for the 2600 in 1982 as part of Atari's Real Sports lineup. Unfortunately, that game did get canceled, and it didn't come out until 2002 in very limited quantities at the Classic Gaming Expo. They discovered the ROM, and they did produce this game in physical form, which is pretty awesome. So kind of a undiscovered classic for many years. Finally came out in 2002, Real Sports Basketball for the 2600. But there was Double Dunk, a very sophisticated game for the console, surprisingly so. There's a lot of features in this game, and if you have the patience to figure out all the rules and, you know, how to pull off a proper shot and how to insert, you know, call all these plays and stuff, just be a little more patient with this game than your typical arcade style basketball, or at least more simplistic basketball like the original basketball, which was actually fairly cutting edge for the time with the pseudo 3D court and everything. But regardless, Double Dunk, Atari 2600, late release, very obscure game. At this point, most people had moved on to the NES, and even the Genesis came out in '89 in the States. So yeah, people had moved on, but Atari was still coming out with some stuff. Pretty freaking interesting. Double Dunk. The reason I open factory sealed games, like I've told you guys, it's fascinating to find out what is inside. And I love just having a brand new game from an old tech like this. This is amazing. And I buy these not only to open for my channel, but to keep in my collection. I don't currently have, or I didn't currently have, a copy of Double Dunk. I needed a copy for my collection, and it's awesome. Now I have a CIB copy, which is very complete since it's everything that came with it, including the poster and the warranty card, the manual. Very awesome. Let me know in the comments if you had heard of Double Dunk, if you had played it before, and what you think about breaking open hard to find retro factory sealed games, or just any factory sealed retro games in general. A lot of people like to keep them sealed so they can get them graded, or to keep them in better condition and near mint or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's cool to, you know, make some cash if you got a really nicely preserved copy of a game and you want to sell it to a collector. That's awesome. But I just enjoy the heck out of opening things up. These are awesome, and I was very happy to find Double Dunk. Now I'm going to open another factory sealed Atari 2600 game on my channel pretty soon. So subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, and check out my channel. I really appreciate it. And get down on some Double Dunk for the Atari 2600. We will talk to you guys in another video.
It's me, Mario! Here we go!